So this evening I'm going to be doing a read through of Wildermyth. Going to be working on the Age of Ulstryx campaign. This is going to be the first in a long line of episodes going through the story of these people. If you are not familiar with Wildermyth, it is a tactical RPG game where players kind of read through comic strips and then have their characters fight monsters on a grid-based kind of tabletop. That's what it looks like. So it's very reminiscent and has a Dungeons and Dragons kind of feel. It's done by Armors, or I do have all of the DLC for Armors and Skins. I don't have Omen Road. Might be something to pick up later, but it's more about the stories themselves, the characters, the growth. We're going to basically just go on an adventure. So.
This is the game itself. Starting a new story, a single-player story for the Age of Ulstryx. The other campaigns are locked. I've got some modded campaigns in here. We'll eventually get to those, but for now we're going to start with the first game. Keep it an adventure. Mods. Already set up. And wall map seeds. Wait. Ideally, I want some of this to grow organically, so as people join in maybe and watch, I might ask chat about how I should make some of the choices, or if there's anybody sitting and watching. If there's anybody sitting and watching, I may have them influence some of the choices so it seems a little more organic. I've got a separate screen so my household can kind of see the game itself with you guys. If you hear them in the background, my oldest stepchild is currently watching me randomize these characters. Say when.
When?
Alright, one more time.
When?
And third time's the charm.
When?
Alright, I guess Finley Gray is definitely staying then. He didn't want to leave. Alright, so looks like for this storyline in this party we've got a bookish loner, a romantic peacemaker, and an aloof goofball. Quelter, Medissa, and Flynn. I will say, at least for this party, I only have to do 1 out of 3 female voices. That gets hard. So, this book looks like the comic strip that we're going to start with is Smoke by Douglas Austin. I think it's ironic that the first book was called Smoke, as I take smoke too. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
This book. See a panel here of something. There's room in it for another story. It's cold. I'm stuck here. I can make my death sound really ridiculous. Lynn's got a thought in his head. Alright. Then I should at least start it serious. Here in our yondering country, something in the woods is very strange. Looks like time is passing. I don't know if these are seasons. Some narration here. concerned with only the prospect of ordinary strangers, a young man named Quelter takes the seasonal road to the town of Weaverskon. A little fun fact for anybody who has tuned in or anybody who checks out the recording later. The names, much like the character names here, Medessa Tavern, Quelter Woolley, and Flynn Gray, are all randomly generated by the game. I think it's a neat function.
Road's nice this winter. Maybe town less so. Luckily I don't see anyone who remembers me. Well, but who would remember me? I don't remember them.
Breeze is light that day. Birds are timid. In fact, the whole world is taking a breath, ready to leap into the sea.
I'm here already, huh? Here's the hard part, getting Medessa out the house. I'm sure there's some broken-winged bird the woman's decided to care for, and that'll be... the smoke.
Kind of pondering with that look on his face. Definitely some worry/confusion. Fluttering flames roost among the far-off rooftops. Quelter hurries towards town, thinking of Medessa, a young woman whom he's known since boyhood. I'm going to defer to the stepchild for this choice. So typically with character relationships, there are a few different options that you can choose, and they do change as the game progresses, so other options may come up no matter what choice is picked, and they may get the chance to change this later. So they can either have a rivalry, as seen in option 1 here, a friendship as seen in option 2, or a romance as seen in option 3. Stepchild immediately blurted out rivalry before I could finish explaining, so I will go with the rivalry.
Watch me worry, and she's fine. Or maybe not so fine. Hey, Medessa, are you there?
So this is what the game board looks like. The world is fairly static to the boards, but there's a lot of interactables. And so we'll get through that as we kind of follow the tasks up here along the top. My face is covering the tasks for you guys. The game's going to come down for half a second. We'll be right back on that note.
I might have to pause stream so I can edit the scene.
That or you guys are going to just see my desktop for a second. I like outer space. I'm a nerd. Eh. Where can I sit that's not going to be in the way? I think with this game, here's a good spot to sit. I'll adjust me later if need be. There we go. I'll sit under the turn timer. This way we can see the faces of the party too. Their faces are more important than mine. My stepchild is very smarmy. If you're not familiar with the word, it's sarcastic. So we're going to move up here, we're going to put the fire out. Extinguish command comes up, easily select fire. So you'll notice the 2 diamonds with the character. Each character gets 2 regular actions and 1 swift action. Not too much going on here because the thing that I like most about this game is you start as a regular peasant. You don't start as a hero. That's why when we were randomizing the characters, it said future mystic or future ranger or future warrior.
If I didn't reach her house, figures. Medessa, shout something!
As he knocks.
Medessa!
She's inside thinking,
That idiot. Why is no one?
the door unlocks. Here's the click. Medessa shoves it open.
Yeah, you what? Honestly, I wish you would have skipped. Get inside.
She's gonna snap at him. They're rivals, so they're obviously not gonna be too friendly. They're gonna be pretty short with each other. And he's kind of like surprised as he hops inside to see that she's holding a weapon. I wonder, in this section of Through the Door, I wonder if he thinks that she's gonna shoot him. That would honestly be my first thought if I walked into my rival's house, pulled in real quick, and they're holding a weapon. Especially if they slam the door. I mean, they're glaring at each other too.
Yeah, there's things in the streets. Didn't you see any? Like monsters. I don't know. I've got one trapped behind.
Your bow? Probably read that out of order, but he's definitely confused while she's explaining. They would be able to hear through the burning and crackling happening out back.
Behind the house. Staying in here isn't really an option. Right. So, here. I have some tools. Look around. Look, here. I know we're not best friends, but we still find a reason to see each other, so... Can you help me fight it off?
This is where our warrior is going to decide on what weapon he wants. The options are a pitchfork, a pickaxe, and a frying pan. He's going to have different dialogue based on what he picks. I think for the sake of safety in combat, we're going to go with the pitchfork, a reach weapon, because they do account for reach, so spears or long weapons, anything two-handed, you do get that extra space of attack. He's immediately going to say,
I can't believe I'm dying with you.
she's going to respond immediately and just as sarcastically.
You should be so lucky. You're dying alone or not at all.
I don't know why I'm doing accents for these either. It just seems to fit. The aesthetic, the character names, I don't know. So we're going to open the door. That is a swift action. And we're going to come outside, but we're going to move down, mainly trying to get vision. Because fog of war is a thing. Sneak attacks. And with ranger classes, they can move into, and certain monsters, can move into what's called the gray, basically turn invisible or be hidden in plain sight because of their stealth rolls, and they set up ambushes that way. So, thankfully we are early enough, we don't have to worry about too much of that from enemies. This campaign, the Age of Ulstryx, focuses on Gorgons for the main enemy. There are 5 of them in the game, which we'll go over after this map. I'll kind of go through all the buttons up here, the calamities. This is a combat-specific button, obviously, the end turn. So you're going to see what I meant by that reach weapon. 1 square of safety, and we can poke it, and that stun damage. So you're going to notice that they're going back and forth saying, oh yeah, watch this. Things like having a friendship, a rivalry, or even a romance in combat will give your characters bonuses of certain types. And if one character gets a critical, the rival's immediately going to be like, oh really? Watch me now. And they're going to try to one-up each other. And it enhances not only the critical hit rate to give a guaranteed crit almost, but they do extra damage with that because they're annoyed with each other. Let's see, so level ups give you the choice of 3 different skills. We've got Head Smash. Once every 3 turns, gain 1 armor and smash your head into the enemy, dealing damage equal to 10% of your block. And stunning the enemy and your son. I don't know how I feel about stunning myself. What else we got? Embolden. After successful kill, grants all heroes 2 armor, 10 block. That's not a bad one, especially with the choice of rivals and the focus on crit there with the characters' personalities, which their personalities may or may not evolve. You will notice now that his outfit kind of changed. He kind of grabbed what scraps he could together and put some armor on instead of looking like the peasant he did a minute ago. Characters evolve as you play this game, not so much in the sense of like evolution or anything of that nature that's super fantastical, at least right away. But as you get gear, weapons, trinkets, you will see them on the characters. And there are events that cause character transformations. I've played this once before, but set up a profile for sharing the streaming, so I had a fresh one for you guys. And one thing I had encountered before was an event where it reminded me of One Piece a little bit, where the character can learn lightning or lightning attacks from an old man who lives near a hill with a lightning rock. Kind of similar to the time skip in One Piece when Nami learns weather-based attacks from the old wizards in the clouds. And you can choose a part of your body to affect lightning. I usually choose the head. You get a little lightning gem in your forehead, which I think is kind of cool. And as the game progresses, characters will slowly transform into things like they were becoming a lightning elemental. But we'll get more in depth to that as I run into those events. I got off on a tangent. The last skill here is Ironclad, excel at protecting and mitigating damage from allies. They're already not friends, so I don't think I'm going to have them go the one where he's protecting them. We're going to go with Embolden. And you can see Medessa immediately changed out of her peasant clothes, has some now hunter-style attire, grabbed a knife too to go with the bow. Here we have any number of swift actions. That might be a gimme. Heightened senses for seeing and attacking further, 6 extra attack range. Now that's an active ability though. I think if they're going to throw swift actions like this, I'm going to grab that Adrenaline Rush passive. And so this is one of many myriad items that not only you will find in the game, the Armor and Skins DLC adds, but I have grabbed a lot of modded stuff out of the Steam workshop. There will come a point where I will go through the mod list to thank all the people who have done mods, but right now that's a really long list to go through. I'm not entirely sure which ones are modded and which ones aren't. This looks like an urban sash with an acid pot, so I'm pretty sure as a throwable this might be a modded one. Kind of hard to tell because I haven't actually done the Armors and Skins DLC, so some of this content's going to be new even though I've tried the game before. The sash of flowing gold and painted silk. Dissolves 3 armor. We're going to give this to Medessa. We're going to give the Ranger an armor reducer. Especially if it's a throne weapon. So you'll see now instead of just the basic sash of the green bottoms, you can see that sash is now on said character. And their cutscene outfits changed as well, immediately getting into their adventure garb. Looks like we're still by Douglas Austin, the Tower in the Hills.
Did he give it to you? I have some bandages inside. Wow, you can really fight, Quelta.
The creature's death is quiet. It seems to slip from life in a few stunned, hazy blinks. They'll spend a piece of the day getting the flames under control. The damage isn't as bad as it could have been. Townsfolk emerge from hiding to fight fires and clear debris. Some full of curiosity, others visibly haunted by what they've seen. You also have to think, from the perspective of these people, that was a normal deer at one point that now looks like something with glowing eyes, and its horns look like it shifted to start growing out of its head instead of normal antlers to have glowing lights in it, like it was bioluminescent, at least from the artwork. That would freak out a lot of people. I mean, if you saw a glowing deer walking into your town, attacking things and starting fires, I'm pretty sure most people would be pretty perturbed. But back to them. It looks like Coulter remembered they have a friend.
Flynn must be worried. Flynn must be waiting for us. I hate to say it, but we should both go. Flynn?
It's like Medessa almost forgot about him.
He's at the ruined tower by now. It's a long way. Can we leave the town a mess?
She's kind of concerned about the town, or she's wanting to just not do it. Hard to tell.
Others will take care of it, but Flynn will be waiting for us. What happened today could be happening everywhere, couldn't it? Something about the tower. It just stuck in my mind. It's like when you get an apple skin in your teeth.
I hate that analogy. I know exactly what he means, and I hate that analogy.
Is it really? Huh? Yeah. Anyway, I just think we said we'd meet him. We should go. The tower in the hills. You've been there? Yes. Once, actually. Looking at the tracks. They've come and they go. That direction.
Welter and Medessa follow the pounded earth, or follow the pounded path of monstrous feet, hoping for the best and dreading every other possibility. So here's where you get to kind of choose how Medessa feels about Flynn. They cut the options because there's already one rivalry. They don't want the entire party to be like at odds. So the options here are friendship and romance. Since there's only two choices, I'm looking to see if I have a coin. Might just flip a coin on this one. Things around me. Bingo. I know how to coin bye-bye. Alright. Heads for friendship, tails for romance. Tails it is. So it looks like Medessa's gonna be thinking,
Flynn, you said you'd be fine. Don't make me call you a liar.
a wordless while passes between them, but the quiet only heightens their worry.
You've always been a little fond of Flynn. I thought of Flynn.
Yeah. You're reading that right for the most part.
You mean I have? Oh. Is that true? No one does make me laugh like he does. There's more to him than that, but anyway.
Definitely dashes behind that tree, so so Quelter doesn't see her smiling.
And plus, it seems like no matter where he goes, we tend to have adventures.
That must have been a trailing thought she had as she was finishing off that she didn't necessarily finish, because now we're at a scene at the tower. We're looking at a creature similar to the foe we fought. I'm going to say Nessa and Flynn have fallen in love. So this is the world map. This is the game board that you play on. You'll see the starting town here. There's a forge so we can craft items. Takes some time, obviously. You have some commands along the bottom. You can gather your party. You can prepare defenses, which tiles do get attacked by the creatures that are in the game world. Excuse me. I've been up since early this morning, so I tend to yawn a bit as the night rolls in. You can train defenses, which that's a new command. Being able to train up your stats so you can survive. Training damage is also new. I'm pretty sure those are mod commands, but that's kind of neat, especially as your party gets bigger. As far as I have seen previously, you don't have a limit. There is passable terrain with no commands. Party will continue to grow and grow based on who survives and who stays. So we're gonna send Medessa to scout. She needs a break from Quelter because they are not friends, and she's worried about Flynn. Quelter, he's going to prepare some defenses around the town. So during an incursion, each tier of defenses will slow down the enemy and reduce their incursion size by 1. Defenses also grant buffs during a defense mission.
This is where I'd meet them if I had my choice. A choke point? I'd hate to get choked in.
And so, ideally I'm going to go tier defenses 3. It's the safest bet, and this is their hometown. Want to keep that kind of safe. So they'll move, time moves on. I'm actually going to pause the passing of time, even though they are both now doing something, and Finn is still in the winds. We're going to go over some of the screen here a little more. So you'll see here the town of Weaverscarn, and you'll see my legacy points is 0 because I just started. There are resources. You can kind of see those symbols on Weaverscarn's tile. The leaf for Heartwoods, the hide symbol, the fabrics, and the ingots. No spell threads though, so mages, they're kind of SOL for here or there. At the chapter's end, I'm set to receive one of each of those for that tile. So as you go through the story in Wildermyth and complete objectives, you reach a time of peace at the end of the section of story, and once you hit that time of peace, what happens is your characters will age. I'm sure some of you may have caught that as I moused over the characters, it shows an age. So Medessa Tavern, she's got 6 health, and she is our 18-year-old greenhorn hunter. We have Quelter Woolley, 8 health, 1 armor, and he is our 25-year-old greenhorn warrior. And then we are looking for Finley Gray. He is 19-year-old, and he's a farmer still. Remember that future mystic title. We're still going to see his growth into that character class, like we did with the other 2. So this button here, which I touched on during combat, the Calamities button, this is where you can get a sense of the enemies you have to deal with. I say that because of the enemies I am dealing with. There are 5 types of enemies. This campaign centers around the Gorgons. So we have the Roe and the Raccoon are the first 2 enemies that the Gorgons have access to. Directly to their left we have the Drauven, which are kind of like dragon humanoids or kind of kobolds, depending on which lore of kobolds you go with. They have the dart and the stump, so a ranged kind of dragon humanoid and a sword-wielding warrior. The deepists are... they're the equivalent of humans, but drow, because they're underground humans that don't blend with society. And so they have the Woken, which is their warrior, and the Slinger. Pretty straightforward. I said shit because instead of the Morthagi, which are not present in this game, and they're kind of the undead enemy for Wildermyth, they function as a mix of machine mixed with human undead body parts that are brought back to life using arcane alchemies. We have the Thrixel. They are an astral enemy that operates on the dream plane, and they bring events that will like trick characters into sleeping, and then the character will literally fade out of existence and cease to exist. Like, people will forget the character was ever there, and it's a permadeath, because permadeath is the thing in this game. Characters will receive permanent injuries, and the Thrixel is an enemy that I usually tend to have a hard time with. So that was why I had the expletive. I'm not a fan of the Thrixel. The Thrusk is the double-headed worm dragon, and then the Dweaver is the dream worm. They're generally a mix of like worm humanoids or like draconic-looking humanoids. They're cool. The Thrixel are cool, but I hate fighting them. Other than the monster view of what monsters they're throwing at you, there's a card view, and you can kind of see what buffs and bonuses every race has for the monsters that you are going to have to deal with. Those bonuses can be like extra enemies. Excuse me. I'm going to take a second to catch my breath because, fun fact, if you are breathing correctly, whether you are singing or talking, you will yawn more often. I learned that in choir. I'm a choir boy. Hence all the voices. So I'm going to take a deep breath real quick. Thank you. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my stepchild said that I was a really good singer in the background. Maybe one of these days you guys will hear it. Maybe when I'm streaming something different. Yeah, that was a side note. We're going to finish up there at the Calamities. And we're going to continue. Actually, so, Calamity cards, you can get a countdown of when they're added, and then you can see infested tiles. Once those pop up, I will point them out as we go through the various terrains. I love the aesthetic on the maps and the generated tokens with the characters' faces. It really gives me a D&D-ish feel, and I say that because I host a campaign on Roll20 that I'm going to be posting on my YouTube, and I lucked out. I got a wonderful crew of actors to play my handwritten campaign, but that's a whole other kettle of fish. So the title of this comic, also by Douglas Austin, is Wildermyth, the title of the game. The previous night. Catching up with me a little bit. The tower where Flynn had arranged to meet Quelter and Medessa is a place he often used to escape as a boy. Or escape to as a boy. He knows its rooms and floors so well, he could survive being chased through them. At least my coughing is organic to the comic. And now I suppose... now I wait, I suppose. Dust is It's deep as rain puddles in here.
Life's alive. Till these bricks fall.
Flynn's thinking to himself. He's looking around.
What do you say, beast?
Kind of snarls at him by the sound of it. We don't really see it, but we can see it's got that same eerie blue glow.
Even you must be bored.
The tower is an heirloom of an earlier people. The locals have lost the legend of it. Now it's little more than a strange nest for spiders, owls, and trysting lovers. But as the old will tell you, precious things go overlooked in a ruin. What lodges amid the bones of failures is often the dream that drove it. I love this line. And he found something worth looking at. That book. That's in character, not narrator.
A book? Why, have I never? Easy there.
Kind of looks back as the beast kind of offset him.
I guess you're wondering why I'm talking to myself, hobbies. I'm also wondering.
Flynn bends to pull it loose. And to his surprise, a beautiful glowing book with the title Wildermyth. The book's heavier than its slender spine suggests.
Why would you look at this?
It's full of strange stories, folklore of folk long forgotten.
The candlelight leaving.
Strikes no significant bell. It's the weird story of a child watching candlelight against the ceiling and wishing himself through it to a far realm without grown-ups. I'm pretty sure my stepchild wouldn't mind visiting that realm.
Oh yeah, I will.
The tears of the oak.
Is a weird, rootless tragedy of a woman made of oak who stands on a sea cliff and is eaten by termites as she waits for her driftwood love to wash ashore. The flotsam beauty floats forever past the edge of the incoming tide. That last one was both a little ironic and, come on now. They were definitely trying with the wood puns.
Punch without wood.
You'd be surprised, child, how many puns anybody can pull out of thin air. That's why puns are usually referred to as the first line of dad jokes.
Wood out of whoever came up with them, they were lazy ass.
I mean, that or they were just kind of dead in the forest.
Laying there, bored out of their mind. A 5-year-old.
Right over your head, child. That was a whole other wood pun. Dead in the forest. A dead wood in the forest.
The weaver scarn dancer.
Claims there once danced a woman in so many spinning circles that she stopped moving and everything else began to turn instead. And as Flynn read this book, you can see by the imagery here, there's something in him that has changed. Flynn reaches the last word of the final tall tale. A few blank pages are left.
This book?
Something in him feels like it's coming loose, but he can't exactly tell what.
There's room in it for another story. It's cold. I'm stuck here. Alright. Then I should at least start it serious. Here in my wandering country.
Flynn writes. Words are ready. Omens have formed in the fabric of everything, and he's beginning to recognize them now. This is that wisdom roll. He just got a nat 20. Some things are just misgivings. They've crept through this body like sourceless aches one wakes with. Others are more substantial. Now they seem lightning plain, a promise of thunder. Oh, there's another one of those row. You see the glowing eyes, the bioluminescent pattern, the head-shaped horns. For in the wild black woods where birds once belled, a hateful silence churns. So this is definitely some foreshadowing. Notice the title of this campaign is The Age of Ulstryx. The Gorgons being the main enemy. This kind of alludes to something greater, obviously, with the glowing eyes, the tentacles, the face, and he's got hands, so he's definitely more dangerous than what we've been seeing. Pain lights Flynn's head. Subsides.
I made it to morning.
He lowers his bleary eyes. His story lies before him in luminous script. Empty pages have sprouted behind it.
Why do I feel powerful?
So he's got the option here. We got another two option choice. So I'm gonna break out the trusty coin.
Trusty coin.
I'm gonna get a better coin for these coin flips. I have one. I think I'll break out my Mewtwo coin if I can find it. If not, I'll just grab one of my Pokemon card coins because I'm a nerd and I like Pokemon. So sue me. Option 1, heads is a spoon, tails is a staff. I will say I am going to leave this one up to chance. It would be more beneficial to use a staff because mages can still do melee, obviously. But my clumsy ass dropped the coin. But yeah, we're just going to leave this one up to chance. And it's a spoon!
You could easily slap it with a spoon.
Well, yeah.
You could fight with a spoon. Problem.
It just means he's got a one-handed wand type weapon.
Yeah.
Open wide, beast. I'm getting out of here.
Turn my audio down because it is getting late here where I live. So, our foe this time is the Rager. It charges without seeing, misshapen tusks swinging wildly. And you got that same kind of mutated growth looking, and this even got one out of its back. And that same bioluminescent, like, instead of just dots, this one's got circles on its back and the glowing eyes. So, mages are interesting in this game, and I like how they work. They remind me of some of the hearsay I've heard from like D&D 2.0. And that is, you have to to have a catalyst. You have to have a channel. And so in this, magic works through interfusion. Characters mingle their life energy with a piece of scenery or an element, and the infused target grants them vision and can be used for further purposes. So it's a mix of like being a druid and a shaman, kinda, except they throw their life force energy into things. Like here, I'm going to use this basket. And you'll see as I hover over the basket after clicking interfuse, it says wood, because it's made of wood. And splinter blast, basic interfusion. And there's the attack. 3 damage, 2 shred, and 2 pierce. Explode a wood object into a shredding blast of splinters that savages an area. Then there's the textile, so obviously it's got some clothes in there. Constrict, basic interfusion as well, for magic damage. So they are separating out physical and magic damage here, which, I'm going to pause real quick, stepchild. This is where you want to take notes on how you would write combat, because I'm explaining not only how the combat damage works.
Yeah, I'm a writer.
They want to be a writer as they grow, so
And I have a few books I'm working on.
as they watch, they're going to be kind of taking notes on the flow of things, so they can kind of understand how combat flows, because as they can see, these are written stories, but they have a combat section, and that's the section of their writing they're looking for help with. So there's going to be some kind of like 2-part going on. I might turn off to the side and mentor the stepchild, or be here explaining some of this to you guys. Back to the textile constrict. They are separating out magic damage. It has a range of 6, so you can kind of talk about how far the attack goes in the description. And then what the attack is it's a serpent of animated fabric wraps around an enemy, hobbling it and squeezing away its life, would be the description of how that attack looks. And you can see, like, here's a bigger thing of fabric. It acts as partial cover, so there are defense from, cover if you're hiding behind things, line of sight. And because it's also textile, it's the same thing, magic damage. It's the constrict interfuse. So we're going to use the basket here. I am personally a fan of Might Makes Right and often use the Splinter Blast, but we're going to use Constrict just to see if Flynn can one-shot this. And the man felt powerful. He spoke, and he delivered. Flynn, feeling powerful, basically just had that cloth come out, wrap that raging boar mutant up, and go, no more.
He was
So,
being the alpha.
you will see now his garb has immediately changed from peasant into the garb of a mystic, and this goes into interfusing the magics that we just kind of talked about for combat. The skills it gave him as a Greenhorn mystic. Swift action, drain the water stream, self-renewal by ally. I think this one enhances the elementals, but it's a mod that's not entirely fleshed out. I might have to double check that. Self and immune. I'm gonna grab this annulment shield. Especially because, well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it'll come in handy dealing with the Gorgons. And he found a Sunseeder Urban Necklace, grants him 6 stunt chance, so 6 critical chance. A necklace of overlapping gold plates. You see, he has no necklace in his character picture here in the corner. We are gonna take that, put it on, and he now has a necklace as he claims it. Even his character picture up here, you can see the necklace, characters evolving in real time. We are now at the scene, reunion. more monsters roam the ruined halls and rattle the rotting furniture. Snorts can be heard from inside the tower. But Flynn moves quietly, sensing his way in the dark. Daylight lands on his wrist, and cool wind soothes his tired eyes.
Did I make it? I did, didn't I?
Look, and that was my 2-year-old y'all might have heard in the background. Yeah, if you want to go check on your brother.
Bibi, you okay?
He was back there watching a movie with his mother, and he might be done and going to bed. I got lucky. Sometimes my 2-year-old will go and put himself in his bed and put himself to bed. There's the 1-year-old. On that note, I will be right back, because she's a daddy's girl, and I'm going to have to go check on her in the crib. So, we will be right back, folks. I got a little one. Don't mind me. So when we left off on Reunion by Douglas Austin.
Did I make it? I did, didn't I?
Flynn's thinking. Closes the tower door. Gentle. To make no noise. Just quiet. The door clasped.
That was the mystic's art I just did. Right, Tower? Where did I get it from? Could it have just happened?
He's talking to the tower, thinking out loud.
Is it just one of those things?
He thinks this one in his head.
Things a man's born with that might blossom in his life when he needs them. People would be so mad at me, but fortune likes to smile, they say. Flynn?
Don't know which one of them's yelling it, so I'll do it from both voices.
He should plumb the depths of his power, but safely, I suppose, and out of sight. Flynn! You're okay? You're okay? You look like it.
Odessa is clearly exhausted from hurrying.
Hey, Flynn. Something happened. Odessa. You're here. You're safe. Oh. Sorry. And you too, Quelter. Me and this boulder. I'm next to only barely survived. Yeah? See that smoke on the horizon? It's from the town. Yeah, that's Weaver's-Scar. It burned.
Oh.
Things are different than they were. Yeah, well, I don't know if you've ever seen something quite like this.
We all kind of glance up at the window.
A monster? Sure we have. We slay monsters.
Flynn looks at them in disbelief.
Well, I'm a wizard.
So they gather up, and you'll notice that Kelter's still working on the town, so I'm gonna have everybody finish building defenses. Have these two gather up. And so we'll have that be our introduction here for the first episode of Can We Really Be Heroes? They're still kind of contemplating it, because they're not entirely sure of the little group. But the light hues cedars of Eula's ambition definitely needs some investigating, because there's some lurking Gorgons, and if they get it protected, looks and secured, looks like they can get some ingots, some spell threads, and some hides out of there. So definitely worth their while. Options for that are either just to gather there or assault it. We're definitely going to want to assault it because, you know, we're clearing out monsters.
I'm not the one with the plans.
A perfect understanding isn't likely to emerge. What these beasts are, where they came from, what drove them to attack the town of Weaverscarn, but letting them nest here feels like the wrong idea. Just do it comes natural? Sure will. So the option of courage or stoicism. I mean, they're both pretty right. She rushed over here, so we'll let her have her courage. And so they get bonus damage. There's a raccoon in a row. And up to the door she goes, because unlimited swift actions. She can open doors and it costs nothing. That throw acid is a swift action too. Nice. That will come in handy. Nice feature, you can switch between characters mid-combat and mid-action. I clicked the wrong characters, not seeing who I was clicked on. Still no enemies.
That's suspicious.
Quite.
I love that they all have normal weapons, but Finn have a spoon. The trusty spoon.
Alright, there's absolutely nothing in here. They must all be in this back room here. That is highly unusual, I will say. That's why I revealed it with someone who was invisible.
Is there a monster back?
Two of them. Both the monsters I was looking for are back there.
Back.
Well, I set him up that he was going to attack anything that walked in a square, so he reacted, and then the monster alerted. Immediate flanking attack.
You really said no.
So you notice the blue bubble in there. That is actually acid blood that these Gorgons leave behind when you kill them. So that's the other danger. That bioluminescence is not just for show. Interfuse with Cabinet and Splinter Blast. Notice AoE, you can hurt your friends, so you have to watch where you aim.
What? Oh, that's the whole point. Oh, okay, I
Uncommon Wildermyth sword. That's not a bad idea. My stepchild said I should give it to Finn because Finn just has Flynn just has a spoon. And it's off camera. A Name and Song is the name of this comic. The last misshapen creature folds its bones and dies. Blue fluid darken the dust.
Calamity into death. There's dignity in that.
They make it sad though when they say that.
Hey, look at us. Look what we did.
Day drops Day rises, dusk is sweet, the sunrise sweeter. It's not long before they've cleaned the old tower up a bit.
That are still 1,000 questions place excites.
Wrong character. That's the easier accent for me to do out of the two for you guys.
There's still 1,000 questions in this. 1,000 questions. This place excites. I always knew this morning would rise when I'd gaze into the sky and see a destiny for myself. A destiny to inspire song.
I like how they tilt their head like sometimes when they talk.
Let's not wait to be overrun. We're a company of heroes now. We'll walk the land. We'll fight. People need us. We'll give ourselves a name and make sure it's one they'll sing. Sound like you've thought about this.
This is where you get to name your group of adventurers. And each one suggests something. So, Medessa suggests being called Falcon's Beauty. Of course she would. Kelter, he wants to be the Angels of the Lady in Grain. I've heard worse. And Flynn is like the Rascals of Stracken Glory. I kind of like that. It's got a nice ring to it. So, we'll go with Flynn, the Rascals of Stracken Glory. After that, the three of them are inseparable. Rumors are rampant, heroes are needed. This world will be flooded in sorrow, but its defenders are joined by a fire that night. Here follow the tales of the Rascals of Stracken Glory. Be remembered. And so afterward, notice it's still the row card, but now it's got additional armor. So this is under the card view. Calamities happen, and sometimes they just happen. Sometimes you can stop them with LP, which I now have 5 of. There's now a couple more symbols on the map, and the map has opened up. All this is here to explore, and then the story locked mission is the last one for after you've explored everything. There's also an opportunity to recruit a new party member and have them join the Rascals. The last thing I'm going to go over for the night before I just go and return to dad duties and house husbandry is the secure. So as you clear areas, you can't just leave them cleared, you have to secure them. And so when securing them,
Scramble the bones, paint over the blood. Stuff the garbage in the nooks.
secure you as ambition. The site can provide resources now and at the end of the chapter. So you get double dip when you secure places. And then you can spend resources to upgrade heroes and armor. You can either investigate thoroughly, catalog everything, and find an item, or finish the work and let the place heal and just get the work done faster. I always go for option 1. There's not really any particular reason to do this. And securing sites is always done better by a mystic. So each class has their thing they're good at. Securing air, providing defenses, scouting, and securing sites. So with that completed,
I was mostly just messing with stuff, to be honest.
a thorough delve through the mysteries of Yua's ambition has proven rewarding. So, just to notice it'll provide resources. Here's what it gives you. Spell thread, Ingus Hide, and a Cloak of Speed. We're gonna give that to Medessa. Because out of them, that are, I don't know. I could give it to Kelter since he's the slowest, but I'm gonna give it to Medessa. She's fast, we make her faster. And you notice now her character also has a cape. And you can see it in her character if you look at her. So this shows the character's evolution in real time. They went from village-dressed peasants to classed characters with some aspect of what they do visible.
I like Queer's outfit. It's kind of simple.
So, from here, we're going to go ahead and close it out for the night. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and we will return with another episode of what is happening with the Rascals of Distracting Glory.